introduce our guest here, Lenny Derby, who's in charge of this moving wall project that's coming to Brattleboro. I think any of us that have had the pleasure to work with him so far, and I know that Marty has, and Roger and Tristan, and a few of us, this guy's amazing. The amount of organization that's required to do this, I think, is going to blow your mind when he tells the story. He has a really varied background and a military service, and he's going to give you. I could never try to do this accurately without reading it, so I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself, and then we're going to talk about the wall. And I think the Rotary's part in the project, and how maybe we can help more. That because it does require a lot of volunteer help. So with that, I'll turn it over to Lenny Derby and let him do his thing.
Very good. Yeah, good afternoon. I am Lenny Derby. I am a member of the Vietnam Veterans Chapter here in Brattleboro, Chapter 843. I served in the military, U.S. Army Aviation. My unit in Vietnam was the 3rd Armored Squadron, 17th Air Cav, and our mother unit was the 1st Aviation Brigade. We served in the 3rd Corps area in Vietnam. It was certainly an experience, and I served from 1967 to 1968. And upon returning back to the United States after my tenure in Vietnam, I still had nearly a year and a half left to serve. So I elected to go back to Fort Eustis, Virginia, where I became an instructor by taking the faculty development course and also a short course in psychology. I became an instructor teaching aircraft maintenance and also working on several different types of aircraft. And then upon my exit out of the military in February of 1970, then I worked with various companies around the area. But then it became my goal to, in recent years, to apply for the Vietnam Memorial Moving Wall. And I have seen the moving wall in various places around New England and New York, and it never gets old. And I've seen the wall in DC twice. It's a very moving experience for anyone. And it's my goal because there's a lot of Vietnam vets around the Brattleboro area and surrounding towns that have not had the opportunity to see the wall in DC. So, of course, my goal is to bring it to Brattleboro, and it'll be the first time. And we're certainly looking forward to it. It's a 5-day event, September 16th through September 20th. And there's an awful lot of work that goes into preparing for this. I had originally applied for both walls. There's a wall that heals and the Vietnam War combat moving wall. And the wall that heals is 3/4 the size of the one in DC, and the one we're getting is a little bit larger than half size the replica, but exactly the same as the one in DC, except on a smaller scale. So yeah, a lot of work is going into this. And since I worked at Full Flex several years ago, and I am familiar with the Moore people, I have permission to use their field in front of the Full Flex plant, which is an ideal location for this event because it's nearly flat and easily accessible to handicapped people as well as anyone. And we're hoping that everyone comes to see the wall. There are 74 panels that make up the wall, and they are made and constructed of heavy aluminum with silk screen names that are actually protrude out of the wall, which makes it easy to do rubbings. But it takes a lot of manpower to put it up. And first of all, we have to build a platform, which we have a carpenter on board to do the platform for us. And we have Home Depot that's supplying the material. So we're in the process now of getting the materials from Home Depot so that carpenter can make ready the 2x4s needed to assemble the platform. And in light of the platform, we're also doing a walkway of chips, and they will be supplied by Sosimo Lumber Company. But we need manpower to spread them. And talking to Tristan Johnson, who's also one of my members, as well as the Rotary, of course, we have arranged for some of the Rotary members to help us in spreading the chips when they come prior to the wall. And there will be a border for the chips as well, so that they don't spread all over the area. And we're hoping it will make it easier for people to access by wheelchairs. So this is something we're looking forward to. And just recently, I must say, I've contacted the Moore Company about a goose problem. Anyone that has ideas on how to scare away geese, certainly are welcome to do that. My last visit to the area, I found goose droppings everywhere, and a little disappointing because they're digging holes in the surface as well, which I conveyed to the Moore Company. They have an engineer which is presently working on that. And of course, there's various methods of getting away, getting rid of geese, and it's either literally scaring them away or supplying some sort of dust that is environmentally friendly, as well as won't harm the geese, but they don't like it. And my other suggestion, and talking to game wardens in the area, is to cut the grass shorter, because they feed on grass, and one bird can eat 1 to 3 pounds of grass in one feeding. And at the time I originally looked at the field, it was quite long. And so we're talking about maybe getting the grass a little bit shorter, and maybe that'll scare them away or discourage them in some way. So anyway, getting back to the wall, it is a lot of work going into getting this thing ready for 5 days. People don't understand really the amount of organization that goes into it. We have lined up for various events throughout the wall duration, which will be open to the public 24 hours a day. And we have to supply security for the wall because we certainly can't have anything happen to it. So we have many former police officers and retired police officers on board to do our security for us. And I have Bob Grover involved in that, and he's leading the way on security. And also for logistics, I have Frank Weatherby is one of my members, and he's doing a fantastic job getting the Rotary involved with the supplying food for the volunteers. And we also have the medical staff on board, which will consist of various nurses, perhaps from the Brattleboro Memorial Hospital, as well as one of my members, who is Bob Totolani, also in charge of this area. We're hoping we don't have to utilize rescue to come take anyone away, but it's a possibility, because seeing the wall for some people for the first time can be very, very emotional. And I have seen people carried away at past locations, but we're just hoping that this doesn't happen. So anyway, we are looking for the community to help out, and we've come a long way. Like I say, we're in our final stages now of setting up the wall. So we are, oh, I should mention, we have the Rolling Thunder coming up. They've offered some of their members to be here on the 16th, which is the day we'll set up the wall, to help with setting the wall up. And more than gracious for that, because the panels, they're not light. And I'm not sure of the exact weight of them, but we need 2 people to carry each panel because of the weight. And we certainly don't want any damage happening to them if someone should trip and fall or damage the wall in some way. So we need to protect the wall at all costs. So we have Rolling Thunder coming, and anyone else that we can get that's able-bodied, we'd like to have them help carry the panels. And we're starting at 8 o'clock on Thursday the 16th. And we start at 8. We're hoping we can get the wall open to the public. My goal was 1 o'clock, but if we can get the wall assembled before then, we can open it sooner. And we hope to televise that fact if that happens. So anyway, we are looking for volunteers, and we're certainly not turning anyone away. Frank Weatherby is also in charge of the directory. We have 2 directories coming with the wall. We'll have an information tent set up where the directories will be housed, and we'll have volunteers that will be trained to look up the names for visitors, and there'll be rubbings available for the wall. We have special paper for that fact. And our volunteers will be doing the rubbings, because we do not want the visitors doing the rubbings themselves. We have a special technique that will be used, and special crayons that will be used for the paper to do the rubbings. So we want this to be known to the public that they are not to touch the wall. And we're inviting school children as well, but we're requesting small groups at a time. And I think this will be a learning experience for the students. And we're looking at grades 5 through 8 primarily. That would have more knowledge perhaps of the Vietnam War. And we will have artifacts there as well, so people can view what the soldiers and the military carried in the Vietnam War. So we're looking forward to that as well. And we will have information going out to the various schools in the local area that if they so desire, they may arrange to have some of their students come visit the wall. There will be people prior to them entering the wall area because we have certain guidelines that they have to follow. And we certainly want silence because they will be entering, anyone will be entering a sacred ground. And we're asking them to please shut off cell phones, no food, no pets, no drinks. And it's a solemn area. And we certainly want them to enter the area with the utmost respect. And the wall, as you know, was designed by Maya Lynde, who was also a Asian, or girl, I should say, of Asian descent. And when she designed the wall, she was taking courses at the Yale University, and it was one of her designs that inspired most people. It started out as a project, a class project, and well, it actually grew into a competition. And it was out of hundreds and hundreds of entries, hers was the one that was chosen. And I was pretty impressed. And it was her own design. And to her, names meant more power. It was a powerful thing to see names rather than to see some tall or a vertical type monument made out of granite or concrete or even marble. So she designed a wall for that purpose. And that is why it has a really shiny, reflective finish to it. Because when you look at the wall, you see not only the names you're looking at, but you also see your own reflection in the background. And this also adds distance and size to the area where the wall may be located. So looking at the names, it's kind of bringing you to the present. But if you look beyond that, which is an area where you can't go, you can see your own reflection. And that was the whole purpose of the wall. So I was impressed with the way she designed it, not only as her being an artist, but she was also some sort of an architect. So you put the two together, and boy, she had a fantastic design. And since the Vietnam War Memorial, she has done many memorials throughout the country, and she gained a lot of notoriety because of this fact. And we're pretty proud of Maya. Not only was she, of Asian descent, but the wall also resembling an Asian country. It's no way a connection. But she wasn't doing this because she was Asian, but because this was her design. And that's why we have a west wall and an east wall. And the one in DC, of course, as you know, points on the east wall points towards the Washington Monument. The west wall points to the Lincoln Memorial. And the apex, which is down into the earth about 10 feet. And of course, it's over 400 feet long, all total. Our wall will be a total of 253 feet. Each wall will measure 126.5 feet. So it's still an impressive entity, if you want to put it that way. And we are certainly welcoming the public to come visit the wall when it arrives. And I think you'll find it be a moving event for everyone. So
I'm going to add to that. Some of the things Len mentioned. I mean, the wall is it 58,000 names?
58,300 some names on the wall right now.
So it's an exact replica.
Yeah.
I think people need to appreciate that. It's a little bigger than half size, so the names are smaller, right. But it's kind of remarkable. He's also going to have restroom facilities have to be set up. There are benches being brought in. Right. Hopefully we're borrowing benches from the town, from the park where we set them up for the disc golf. There needs to be road signs. They're having electricians put in sound system. They have to put lighting in. There has to be a cot in a tent for the security that stays overnight there. I mean, it just goes on and on. Of course, the marketing, and I know it's amazing, really. And so there has not been much marketing that I've seen. If I talk to people, it hasn't been talked about. So hopefully that's going to come out. There'll be a lot more of that. Maybe we'll drag Marty into that too. I don't know, but anyway, it sounds remarkable, and I think we just open up to questions for Lynn.
Sure. If anyone, yes.
Lynn, first off, thank you for your service. Truly appreciate it, and for all that you're doing for the Vietnam veterans in not only the area but also in the state. Could you just talk for a moment about the cost? It's one thing we want people to come, but do you need any money?
Right. Right now, see like I said, we applied for both walls.
Len, you're muted.
Sorry.
That's
I
all
don't
right.
know that.
Oh,
Okay.
well, anyway, yeah.
So my question was, do you need any money?
No, Marty, we're doing well now as far as finances go. My goal was 15,000 and we've exceeded that already. But donations are still rolling in, so I'm not turning any donations away, but we're actually at our goal and we don't actually need any more money at this point. But there is a lot of money involved. And as I said earlier, we applied for both walls, the wall that heals and the wall that we're getting, which is a half-size replica. But the wall that heals comes with a $10,000 price tag, whereas the one we're getting comes with a $6,000 price tag. We've already put 2,500 up front, and the 3,500 will be presented to the people when they bring the wall. Other than the money that's needed to set up this event, which is going to be quite expensive, any money that's left over that's not used for the purpose of the wall will go to the wall itself to help maintain the wall, because people don't realize, even though the wall is very impressive and it's made out of these aluminum panels, they have to be replaced from time to time, and it comes at a very, very high cost. So, and they're keeping this wall moving throughout the country, which I think is fantastic.
Okay.
So I think if finances go, we're pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions?
Hey, Joe, and Lenny, Carl here.
Sure.
So Lenny mentioned come and help on Thursday, but do you want us to sign up or let Joe know or let somebody know the days that were available? I myself am not available Saturday, but I'm available the other days. So is it just show and go, or do you want us to let somebody know?
Yeah, if we could get a sign-up sheet going, that would be fantastic. Because a lot of things have to be done prior to the wall coming on that Thursday. For instance, the walkway has to be in place, the platform has to be done. And I'm setting up a corral, which will resemble each Vermonter that was lost in the Vietnam War, and there's 100 flags. So there's a corral which I had designed and would be roped out with some sort of roping. But there's 100 flags that need to be placed inside this corral, as well as the corral itself. I need people for that. So
what we'll do is we'll come up, Carl, and identify some specific projects and the dates and the timing, and then we're going to circulate that, because there's a lot happening, but we do need to sort of focus on some individual
absolutely
targets. So
yeah, as I've said, we're not turning anybody away, and there is a lot of work that needs to be done prior to the wall. And the shelters that are coming, some of the shelters will have people coming with them that'll help with will erect the tents. But we may need extra help as well, and I'm not sure how many, but we certainly will need help, because we're looking at probably 5 shelters altogether,
really?
Including 3 large tents. And there's also a medical tent, which is a replica of the one used in Vietnam, which is coming from Maine. But I think they have their own people to set this tent up. But like I said, there's going to be a lot of shelters that we need in the event that the elements should turn to rain. Hopefully it doesn't, but you can't predict the weather. It's that, still a long ways off. So yeah, we will have a shelter for the directory especially, and that would be a smaller tent. But we'll have a tent to house the artifacts of the Vietnam War, so people can see what soldiers carried over there and what they had to endure. So like I said, we're hoping this will be a learning experience for everyone.
Okay. Anybody else?
Lenny, Marty again. In terms of your service, you're going to be having some of your artifacts as well. What
Yes.
kind of stuff do you have?
I have hand grenades. Of course, they're diffused, so they won't blow up. I hope to show them. There's 2 types of grenades used in Vietnam. One is like a pineapple type. The other one looks like a lemon. They call it a baseball. And I have a pith helmet. Along there's a various bunch of artifacts that I will have, but others will have as well. And I will bring a photograph album of my Vietnam experience as well. So there'll be a lot to see there. Absolutely.
And is there a program? Is there a program?
Yes,
set?
we're working on a schedule right now, a 5-day schedule. I'm working on getting that together. We will have the American Legion coming. I've already talked to Bill Whistle on this matter, and we've decided on 6:30 on Friday, which should be the 17th. And yes, and they will play for a half an hour, and then we will do taps at the end of the American Legion band, and also have bagpipers coming Saturday at 1300 hours or 1 o'clock in the afternoon for a half an hour, because they come at a great expense as well. So there's a lot of things involved, and it takes money. So we're hoping to cover all that. I don't think it'll be an issue for us. So yeah, there'll be artifacts, and there'll be other events going on. I have Lieutenant General Michael Doobie coming on our closing day at also 1300 hours on Monday. And I'm not sure how long his speech will be, but he's offered to come down. I've been checking with the Air Force to try to get a flyover, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. We're working on it. And then we hope to start taking the wall down by 4 o'clock that Monday, which will be the 20th.
And that's another area where they may need help.
Right.
Rotarians are very good at taking things apart, putting them together.
Right.
It's not.
We're hoping the people that help us put it up will also be the people that help us take it down. So, yeah, definitely.
And Lenny, has the moving wall? When was the last time that the moving wall was in Vermont or in this area?
Oh gosh, it's been in several locations around Vermont. I couldn't even name where they have. I've seen many of them. We had it in Wilmington, I think it was 5 years ago. They had it in Springfield, and the last one I saw in Vermont was Essex. They had it up there twice. Very moving experience, but I couldn't name which has been the most recent one. I also should say too that we saw the one, a member and myself went over to Branch, New Hampshire this past weekend to view the wall over there. They were doing their 75th anniversary of the Cathedral of the Pines. And so actually one of my members and I went to visit the wall just to see how they set it up and how they were operating it. And I must say I was a little bit disappointed the way they had it set. It was on a downhill slope, and the foundation, rather than setting on 2x4s, was setting directly on the ground. And at the apex, which they recommend an angle of not less than 95 degrees, I swear it was 75 to 80 degrees, and the panels at the apex actually overlapped each other. And I thought the concept was great, but the organization was not so good. And I vowed that ours would not be like that. But anyway, it was an experience. Any other questions?
And do you know if there's any plan for that program to be published in the Reformer as an insert or anything?
I do. I hope to have it done so that we can get it in the local papers as well. Yes, so people have a better idea of what's going on. Also, Friday, the Friday during the wall, the VFW was offered to put on a little picnic type of thing for just Vietnam vets, and I wanted this to be known Friday evening, I should say, so that the wall itself will be open just solely at that time for Vietnam vets and their families, so that they may have some alone time at the wall without any other distractions. So I thought I would bring that up as well, but that'll be in the schedule. So yeah, it's a lot of things still left to do as far as getting the schedule together, but we're coming a long way, and I think we'll have it done in a short time.
And Lenny, is there going to be a website or a Facebook page if people, want to keep track of this?
I may have one of my members do that, but myself, I'm on Facebook, but I'm not into Facebook a lot. I may put something on Facebook. Yes, I may do that, and my members will as well. They have more experience with Facebook than I do. So I'm looking for them to do this kind of thing. Hopefully.
Okay.
That it?
Any other questions for Lenny? And I do know, as far as the work project goes, Joe and Roger and Tristan from the Morning Club are all going to be coordinating the list of things to do so that we can, between the two clubs, make sure there's plenty of hands available for you.
Excellent. That'll be fantastic. We'll be looking forward to that.
Great. Well, Lenny, and thanks so much for, for your service, but thanks so much for doing this and for participating today in our Rotary meeting. If you could, well, I guess we've already got your contact information. Joe has it and Roger has it. So if you have other questions or things that come up, we can get a hold of you.
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
Okay, great. Anybody else have anything for the good of the order before we close out the meeting? If not, don't forget, next week is the golf tournament, and we're still looking for volunteers and golfers and people to buy raffle tickets. So hopefully we'll have some good weather, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks for coming.